Hello, good evening, welcome. As David Frost used to say, but I guess you have to be a certain age to remember that actually. This is part two of our Birds and Blooms, and on Tuesday we did the blue tit, and tonight we're going to have an attempt at some flowers. This was my original. It's a sketch really. It's just a sketch showing where I wanted to put the flowers. And I had another little try through the week. I did think about putting some purple little bits of blue, but they didn't particularly work very well. So I'll stick with what we know. So we left it that I'd just finished the blue tit, and there he is. I think he looks fine enough. So all finished. So I can take him off now, and we can think about where we want to put our flowers. Let's put my reference up there so I've got a bit of a clue what's going on. I decided that we'd have a little go at not copying. These are Cosmos. It says so on Google, so they are. I'm afraid I don't know. But they look quite interesting to me. They also look quite relatively simple. The sort of square, nice and round and bright and yellow, and it's got this lovely dark pink that comes away from the centre. So, even looking at that, you can see that they're all facing different ways. This one's going to the side. This one you can only really see the side of and a little bit of the centre. This one, all you can see is the back of. So we have to bear that in mind, that they're not all, front and centre. In fact, on here, I don't know, that one might be, but they're all tilted a little bit one way or the other. So we need to remember that when we come to paint them. Now the paint for tonight it's the same golden heavy body paint that I normally use, but I've mixed it through with fluid retarder, which keeps the paint open, as they say. It stops it drying out so quickly, and we need that property of the paint to get the effect that we're looking for with the flowers. I've used Winsor & Newton fluid retarder because I had a bottle and it was open and I see no reason not to use it. But Golden also do one, additive for slowing the drying time of acrylic paints and mediums. So you mix it up per the instructions on the back, and then you'll have a paint that doesn't dry out so quickly. Acrylic does dry out very quickly, it really does, but here, under all these lights, it's really, really warm, and I've got no chance. So I've pre-mixed my colours up with this one, actually, the fluid retarder. So that's what you need to do for this. I'm also going to put some of the fluid retarder in a little tub here, because as soon as you introduce water into your acrylic paints, you've lessened the drying time. It will dry as quickly as water would evaporate, so you've gained nothing by mixing it with your retarder. So we're going to use that for rinsing out the brush. Talking of brushes, this is the assemblage for this evening. This is a filbert size 10. It's a Daler-Rowney System 3. I'm very fond of these Daler-Rowney brushes. They're specifically made for Daler-Rowney's own System 3 acrylics, and they're obviously perfect for acrylic. I'll also be using 1/4 inch short flat System 3. I'll also be using the 1/4 inch angle shader, and then these two fellas, which Mr. Handyman bought online because they were for sale at £2.50, I think, for a set of 5, and he thought, why not? And I'm really glad he did. Actually, there is absolutely nothing wrong with these brushes. They work perfectly well. I don't know how long they'll last. I've had them now a few months. And I think, as long as you wash them out properly and dry them properly, then they've got a fair bit of life left in them yet, I would say. This is actually a good, just while we're here, this is called a flat brush, and this is called a bright. and the difference is the length of the bristles. I don't really understand. I use them for the same purpose. But if you hear somebody referring to a flat brush, it's this one with long bristles and a chiselled end. And if you hear them referring to a bright, the shorter bristles, but still with the chiselled end. And you will hear me referring during the live to the chisel edge of your brush. And that's it. That very flat line along there is your chisel edge. When you wash your brushes and you put them to dry, make sure that you squeeze them so as the chisel edge is really sharp. Once that chisel edge goes, your brush is a bit conked out, really. I mean, it does have other uses. I mean, I use a Deerfoot Stippler all the time because I haven't really kept any of my old jiggered up brushes. So don't throw them out. But for really exact work, you need to be able to get a chisel on the end of your brush. And I think that's it. Let's paint. Right, so our biggest decision tonight is where we're going to put these flowers. I like the idea of it going round, but I want to keep everything away from the blue tit's head and body, really, if I can. I'm really sorry about the dog. He's been so quiet all day. It's like he knows. So I want to start, I would say, about here. And I'm drawing this on with a Derwent pastel pencil because it either gets absorbed into the paint or you can rub it off. Don't do it with a graphite pencil, please don't. He's got a chew toy. Don't do it with a graphite pencil. You can cover it up 1,000 times and you will still see it. So use a pastel pencil. So I want this to come round like this, and I want this side to come up higher, away from the knob. As we discussed last week, we want to leave that kind of separate. So we want it like this, that sort of shape, I think. And where should we put the flowers? Well, we need the bird sitting on something, and there aren't really any branches here, it's just flowers. So we'll have the bird sitting on one, let's see where we've got them in the reference, sat on a fairly sort of flat one there, and this one's face on. So let's do that face on one. Let's do it here. So that's one going there. And then we'll have another one here. And another one here. But maybe sideways on. Yeah, maybe sideways on. And then perhaps one here that's also going that way. And on the reference I've got a little one there which I quite like, so we'll put that one in as well. Well, maybe not, because that's, no, can I bring that on and put a little bud on the end. And then here we'll just have some of these suggestions of flowers. This is quite a sort of, not the bird is not impressionist, it's not realist either, not realism, it's a painterly depiction of a bird. Painterly, it's a hard concept to explain really, but it looks like it's been painted by hand. Photorealism is a different thing. That looks like it's been taken with a camera, and actually always puzzles me really, because why don't you just take a photo of it? So this is a painted bird, but it's not impressionist. It's not meant to be. It's meant to look like what it is. The flowers, however, they are more impressionist. They don't really look like this. We're just kind of making them up. And I'll put one here coming down like that. Okay. So, first thing to do is get some paint, and I'm going to use this one, the cheap bright, and actually my brushes are still damp. I was painting earlier, so And I'm going to get some green, bit of green and
Palette cam.
Oh yeah, excitement! Are you excited about my palette? It's got a bit of glare on it there. My palette cam. It's like I can't tell you what it's like here. It's just ridiculous. And so we'll mix some of the green up with some yellow, and then I'll take some white and we'll mix some of that with white. So we've got kind of three green colours going on here, three green shades, and they're all green. I don't think I'm going to be using a dark green yet. It needs to go sort of where it needs to go once we've finished the flowers. So I'll use the medium green at the minute. And I'll just put some suggestions of where things might go. Now this is quite, you're able to actually to blend this, which is a very nice property of this. You can blend it with your brush, or you can just suggest things as you go around. Don't try and copy what I'm doing. Just find your own path of what you where you want things, etc. I just like the idea of it being quite impressionist and very loose. That's really the expression. It's very loose. We'll put these in. I mean, when we've finished and we can see what it really needs, we'll come back and coming down there. Get a little bit more yellow on that. Mix some more up. That's slightly darker shade, but doesn't matter. So that's the start, and that's always the difficult bit. I mean, the blue tit, in a way, it's much easier than this because you can't go wrong. You're following the picture of the blue tit; it's there in front of you. You know, that's the colours you need. This is how you do it. With this, it's more artistic, if you like. You have to decide things for yourself, and sometimes things don't go right when you are doing them. So you've got to kind of make them better if you can along the way. But this is just to start us off. See where we're going. So I'll rinse that out in my fluid retarder and dry it off on a towel. And then we can get going and have a look, see where our balloons are going to go and what they look like. So I'm using quinacridone magenta just to put them in, and so we can see what's going where. So if we look at our picture, let's aim for something like that or like this, not straight on. So we need, this is just the background, so don't worry. I know it looks like quite frightening, but it's not. It's not, honestly, it's not. Now because it's sideways on, these petals here are quite short as they come in, like that. So that's fine, pleased with that. That's our first flower in. Let's do this one because it's behind. The one that he's actually sitting on, I think, is behind. Oh, hang on, he's not. I'm going to have to move this one, I think, because there's his legs. Well, he could be sitting on a branch, though, couldn't he? I could make some green up into there. Yeah, that's what I might do. But we'll put this one in anyway because it's behind the other ones. Just be careful that you don't go for the bird. You spend all that time getting him right. It'd be tragic if you went wrong. There we are. I think probably need a slightly smaller centre than that. Now this one, let's get some more paint. Now this one is full on, full frontal. This paint, once it's been mixed with the fluid retarder, is it's really nice actually. I was looking at this thinking, should this be coming forward a bit? Maybe sort of shorten those petals there to give it the idea that it's coming forward a bit. And then we've got this one here, which I think we said we were going to do on the side. Where's my pestle? Yeah, I think so. So we'll do these ones, then come round. I mean, you know, come on guys, it's easy. You can do this. You can do it. And then just like that, with some short petals in there. Okay, so we are making progress. I've got one here that's looking down. And one here that we're just seeing the side of. So same sort of thing, just bring it down. I'm using a flat brush for this. I'm using a 1/4 inch short flat. You could use a filbert. The difference you can see quite clearly, the filbert is rounded at the corners, whereas the flat's straight across. These cosmos, to me, when I look at them, they are square. The edges of the ends of the petals look quite square there. If you've got something that's got soft ends to the petal, you'd be better off using a filbert. You'll get it more round. Oh, that makes sense. Right, then the next thing to do is on with the white. Making progress here, aren't we, guys? So let's get some white. Dab plenty onto your brush, plenty. And we'll start over here where we started before and just pull it down, pull it all down into the centre. These little ones here. And you can see different pressure on your brush causes, these lines here are because I press slightly harder. It's hard to explain and you really need to practice to get the hang of how it feels really. Okay, that's looking okay. Looking like a flower. You think? You reckon?
I do.
Oh, that's good. That's excellent.
Whether anybody else does, of course.
That's excellent news.
Not speaking to us.
Nobody's speaking to us. Nobody's speaking. Speak to me, please. Maybe they're all busily watching. Or maybe nobody's watching. Maybe we're talking to ourselves. Okay, so we've got this one done now. You're getting the hang of what's going on here. The magenta is your ground level, even although you actually want your flowers to be magenta. But we're trying to vary them and to make them this impressionist style by pulling through the magenta through the white, and this is the effect that you get, which I personally think is very pleasing. Obviously you're not speaking to me, so you don't. And the same here, just pull them down to the centre. Keep your brush loaded up quite well with
Alison
white.
says we're all fascinated.
Fascinated, oh, well, that's good. This is just getting to be a bit pink now, and I want white. So I'm just going to wipe it off. Obviously I'm not rinsing it out in water, and that's really what we don't want to do. So I've just taken the thick of the paint off there with a towel, and there you go, you come back and it's, let's get some more white. Make sure you use plenty of white. I know the temptation is not to because you want them pink, but you get a nicer effect if you do. I've got some glare going on. I think we just missed a little bit on that one. So there you can see that you get different. Let's put a bit more white in there. That's better. I hope this is making sense to you. people. So sweep it down always to the centre. Once we get the centre in, you can start sweeping from the centre out. But we'll discover that when we get there. So the edge petals, you're not seeing them all, you're just seeing the side. And these ones here. Okay. So if I put it,
Paula says that looks so cool. You make it look so easy.
It is easy, Paula. It is. There is no trick to it at all. It's just easy.
Practice.
It's just knowing what to do, isn't it? You know. I mean, I must say that I owe a lot of what I've learned from a chap on the internet called David Johnson. If you get the chance, go and watch him. Guy's a magician. But, you know, in the meantime, he's stuck with me. Don't go and watch him now. Watch me, please. So I think what we need to do now is put some little buds, some suggestions, some ideas, some hints of some little buds. You can see here on my reference one that I've really just washed these out. But they're there. They give the idea that something else is there. It's not just this and then the world stops. It's you're looking through, perhaps.
An impression, in fact.
An impression. Just call me Claude Money.
Claude Mummy.
Claude Mummy. So for this, I am actually mixing up. I've got my quinacridone magenta, I've got my white, and that is, I hope you can see that on the palette cam, get me with my palette cam, that is, it's a Marley sort of mix. It's not, don't keep going through it because you'll end up, all your paint will be the same colour. Do this so as you've got a mixture on your brush, like that, and then we'll just put these down like that and just brush them out. And maybe one here as well. I think possibly we need these can be attached to the main body of it once we come to do the greens at the end. Just some little hints, little suggestions. I think maybe down here, maybe down there, maybe both. Why not? Rub them out. No Ziggy tonight.
I haven't seen Ziggy yet, no. But Alison says she would have made it harder by starting with a pale pink, then adding a magenta.
Yeah, that's what your common sense tells you to do. It is exactly what your common sense tells you to do, and it doesn't work. I can tell you that because I've tried it myself. You're so tempted to do that, but don't. Right, then, we're coming along all right, I think. Everybody think we're okay?
George is hoping the supplies are delivered today.
Is that Georgia Owen?
Yeah, can't wait to try a bird.
Georgia, I hope to come today for you. I really do. So I think the next thing to do is to deal with the centres of these flowers, because they actually bring it life, really. So I'll rinse my brush out in my Incredibly Now Mucky.
Laurie says you're an awesome painter and a comedian.
Do you know, you've got to be in this house, I'm telling you. The things that happen to us are just ridiculous. Some of the things, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't believe them. They should do a sitcom on us watching telly. Tell you today, the discussion of the day today was whether pash is a word. P-A-S-H, pash. Because just outside the studio here, I've got two pieces of furniture done. One is the rest of this piece, waiting for the door to go on. and the other is like a little two-door chest that I was showing you. Had various ideas of what I was going to paint on it, and they've both been, one's in chalk paint, one's in mineral paint, but they both ended up virtually the same colour. So I said to Mr. Handyman, "Oh, I must be having a bit of a pash on that colour." And he said, "What, are you down with the kids or what? What are you talking about?" So we had to get our great big shorter Oxford Dictionary, which is still in 2 volumes and rather large. And yeah, I can confirm that pash is the appropriate word. We are having a pash on Duck Egg Blue. Right, where are we? Do now centres. Come on, girl. Get a grip. So I've got some yellow ochre. I'm also going to have my yellow. I'm just going to do what we did before here. Let's try and pick up a mixture of the two. And let's put our centres in. What's going on with him? Looks a bit like it's not right. So just drop them in. See, they are quite yellow and they are quite bumpy, and they've got sort of bits of black in them as well, or a dark colour.
You just mentioned, I think, is going up, so
it's going up.
It's actually the bottom that you'll see, not the centre.
We could probably do some green on then.
Some dark green.
Yeah. You might find it easier at home if you actually work out properly what you're doing before you start. I'm a bit of a wing and a prayer person, as those of you who've known me for a while know. Usually goes wrong. But it's fun. Now this one, remember it's on the side, so it needs to be painted well over here. So that's made a huge difference, hasn't it, really? So much so I'm going to put my Cosmos reference pictures away. Just nip that out, nip the colour out on a towel. And I'm just going to pick up some of the darker colour, the yellow ochre. Just add some darker bits to it. I think we need to come back. We just need to let that set a little bit, and then we'll come back with a much darker colour. But in the interim, I'll do some bits and pieces. I'll just get some brown, some reddy brown. I'm going to mix that with a little bit of green, just to give us some stalks. See, even that's all mixed up together. But you want your chip. In fact, I'm going to do it with my 1/4 inch angle shader. Because I'm going to put some lines in. These don't have to be perfect. I mean, you know, the whole thing is I want it to look like it's kind of coming from there, really. Of course, you can have lines, you know, coming up. Just want to join that up. Yeah, that's probably okay. Let's put some green in then. No, actually, let's deal with the centre. Let's get some colour on there. On my palette, I've got black and I've got red. I don't really know which way to go with this. I think I'll just put some little bits of black on first, because you could see in real life they do have bits of black. I have suspended reality.
For the first time.
Not for the first time. I'm just really just going to dab this around the outside, but it does give it a bit more life, doesn't it? You can answer if you like, Mr. Handyman.
He does.
Thank you.
It's one of the things, though, that less is more sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't overdo the black.
No, black can be a very harsh colour. But in our picture, there was black. So it's having black. This hasn't got black on this side because, as you know, it's folded over. That's folded down and that's folded up. Okay, let's get rid of that black off my brush before I put it somewhere else and really regret it. Right, now what I'm going to add is some red, which seems a bit odd. And in fact, it might turn out to be a bit odd. But I have a plan that I'm going to put this round the centres and just pull it out a little bit, give it a bit of highlight. So I'm just going to put that around all the centres. Go quiet when I'm concentrating on it. That's the best time.
Yeah.
The best part about the live is when I'm saying no. I'm going to put a little bit up into here. I know that we're looking at the back of it, but I think you'd still see that. And consequently this one here, just a tiny little bit.
Still a bit of colour in the petals.
Yeah. So, I think we're alright with that. And what I'm going to do now, I'm getting a bit slap happy here, is clean my brush out, make sure that black's gone. So what I'm going to do now is come back to my white and highlight some of these petals. Drag some of that red out from the centre. So this time I'm going to start at the centre and drag that up. And just highlight some of them, maybe not all of them. I also need to put a little bit on some of these, just a suggestion. I hope that some of you are going to have a go at this.
Dora and Karen says the beautiful flowers.
Oh, thanks, girls. Right, okay, let's have a look at this one here. Let's see if we can drag that red out. Looks like I'm going to have to drag it with my hand. It's so hot in here. And I'm going to put some more red on because I really want that to show, to be a shadow, like that. Exactly like that. See, you thought I was mad, didn't you, Mr. Handyman? No more than usual, you're going to say.
Well, without evidence to the contrary.
So Mr. Handyman's been getting his eyes tested today. And for the 3rd year running. Oh no, actually that's not true. I was going to say they haven't changed his prescription. But they have, because his eyes have got better. Whose eyes get better? Well, Mr. Handyman, obviously. So there we are. We've got this nice broken up kind of look to these now. And I personally quite like that. If you don't like it, don't put it in, you know. I mean, they're going to be your flowers. What I would say to Alison, I think it was, who said the temptation is to put the colours the other way around. Even if you're doing white flowers, make sure that you have a colour in the background and then put your white on top. I'm not going to show you how to do that now because we don't have time, but it's worth practicing that at home, Alison, and just seeing how much underneath colour you drag up, but yet still maintain white flowers.
Dark to light is the
dark to light. Because your white probably will be your highlight, and you can always put some more pink in. So I'm quite happy with this flower now. I quite like him. I might just drop the highlight in there. I'm just using the edge of my flat brush, little flat brush. And this one, I want some white, where it's sort of turning. There's a technique to putting these strokes down. I'm putting it down and then I'm twisting it off and you get a line. I'm not suggesting that you do that. if you're just starting. These are, I think they're fine the way they are, and I'm sure that most people would. I'm just showing you what I know. I think maybe on here too, just to highlight. There is a danger that you over fiddle and you lose all your nice work, so don't do that.
And you do have to layer up.
Yeah, you have got to layer. Okay, let's maybe a bit on this fella. Okay, and just back to this one. I'm going to put some white on him, but I might actually come. No, that's the back of him, isn't it? We're looking at. Yeah, so we want him to be a bit paler. Okay, I think we're kind of done with regard to that. I'm just gonna get some red here. It's so warm in here. In my paints that I've got extender in, I'm struggling. Okay, let's rinse our brush out and see where we go from here. It's relatively quick, isn't it? I mean, most of the time that we've been on, I've been talking, not doing, which is a common fault of mine. Right then, so in here, we need, this here is the business end. It's the focal point, and you need to bring it out. The bird is fine. He's good, and I don't want anything here. I want him to look proud. But I'm going to have to bring some green up because I've lost his feet. And I'm going to have to be careful what colour green it is because his chest is green. So let's get some of our darker green and go in with that. Just come up past where his feet are. Now this really just is however you feel like doing it. I'm just going to mix a little bit of purple through my green, which I know is an odd mix, but it does make a lovely colour, a lovely dark greeny colour, which is kind of what we need at the moment. Just carefully give these a background so they're placed somewhere, not floating free like the poor blue tit's been doing for the last 2 days.
Legless.
Totally legless. Which is not normal in our house, is it? Because we don't drink.
No.
We don't drink at all. I drank enough as a kid, I think, probably to see me through to my dying days. So that sort of grounds these a bit.
Pushes them forward.
Yeah. Just going to mix some more purple, dioxazine purple through my green. It doesn't really matter if you go over your flowers. They're impressions, so just do your best. But if it goes in the wrong place, just use your finger, rub it out, put a little bit more white in there, and no one will be any the wiser. I think the thing with this, guys, is you've really, really got to practice. You've got to be quite happy with holding the brush and confident in your strokes. Don't be sort of timid and, oh, I can't do that, I can't do that. Just do it. Just get yourself a piece of cardboard, MDF, whatever, and just practice. And then it'll come to you. It really will. Honestly. So I think we're sort of alright. I might bring some out here. Just a little idea of a leaf or something, maybe there and here. I'll just get some lighter green. Just put that on there so it's not all one colour. We're trying to give the idea. We're trying to suggest. Oh, just kicked the world rocked. I rocked
Did
my
the earth
world.
move for you?
It did, all of a shot. I just want to make that really quite dark to stand out from his chest. I think we're all right with that. So now really is the final countdown. No, we're putting in the green. I'll just rinse my brush in my now filthy fluid retarder.
Alison says she's going to have a practice over the weekend.
Yeah, I do.
It's never been a forte, but watching you, she thinks she can probably do it.
I think you can. I think, just turn the volume off and then just watch the video. You don't need me ranting on. But you really can. And see if you can get the hang of, making them face that way, this way. This one face that way, these are facing down. And if you're not happy or you don't like a bit, just go back in with pink or with white or whatever. And you can easily go back in to the, gosh, that's dry already. Put some extra pink in if you think it needs it.
Make it a bit darker to separate the leaves out, or
yeah, anything. There you go. Look, make that a bit pinker, make it stand out. The crux of the thing now is getting it all to look like it all belongs together. So let's get some green. And mix it back into there. And I'm just going to mix a bit of yellow through it. It's going to take a bit of this fluid retarder, make it flow a bit better. And a bit of white.
Paula says Georgia thinks you're fab. She asked me to tell you. It's Georgia, J-R-G-A.
Thank you, Georgia. That's Paula's little. You could have a go, Georgia. Yeah, let's have a go. So I'm just going to add some little kind of leaves. Some suggestions of things going on here. I will come back because I don't want them all one colour. So I'll just come back with my dark and just go down one side of them. I kind of think this is probably like the most critical bit, really, because there's no pattern for it, and you can go wrong. Keep mixing your colours up if you can, because they're all different colours in reality. Now we need to address this bit here. Let's put it on and just pull it away. So it's just fading out. will say that if you don't feel inclined to mix all your paints up with extender and blah blah, there Golden do a range called Golden Open acrylics, and they stay open much longer than ordinary acrylic. The reason I didn't mention them earlier was they're expensive paints, and you won't need them for everything. You only need them for this sort of thing. I mean, the blue tip, that would have been stupid doing that in open paints because I needed to dry bit so I could go ahead and paint on top. It's this sort of style that you need open paints for. If you've got lots of money, go ahead and buy them. They're really good. They're in the tube. You just use what you need. I'll show you what they look like. Yeah, I'm looking for green. This is what they look like in the tube. They're black as opposed to the ordinary golden white. And they really do stay open for ages. A good investment if you're going to be painting a lot of furniture with flowers or whatever. I really hope that you do. I really do hope that. It'd be great to, get notifications of posts of pictures that you've done. I'm going to use this open now, actually, because I've used all the green I had mixed. I want some quite darkish shades.
So she could just pick those and put them in a vase.
Oh, that's nice. Who said that?
Alison Young.
That's really nice, thank you. So where are we? Probably need a little bit of darkishness down here. Just pull that through, because it is after all an impression. That's what we're after. I'm just going to put some dark on here because they really annoy me when they're all one colour, because it just doesn't happen like that. Right, so I think we're getting pretty near the end. This fella needs some green on him. A bit undressed. So I'll just draw that on and there. And then some little ones falling off it. Probably the same here, really. Maybe here too. Not really much what I had in mind. And this one. And he needs to join up to somewhere, really, doesn't he? It's just kind of floating free. I'll use my 1/4 inch angle shader. Sorry, I know I go quiet when I'm concentrating. I'm really sorry. I kind of struggle to do two things at once. I think I'm getting better a bit. Right, so we've got everything joined up apart from this fella. And he needs to go probably into there.
Karen Hannah says she's got a chest, which is good to know. And she's going to start soon, and she's going to paint flowers and vines.
Excellent. In this style. Hannah.
Karen Hannah. And
Karen.
Karen.
Oh dear. You can just have some looseness going on. We want the painting to look loose, but kind of makes sense too. Although your eye's very good at connecting the points. It's something that the artists do and that people struggle to do when they first start to paint things. They paint what they think they can see, and it invariably isn't what you can actually see. And it's a bit of a curse when you have got an artist's eye, because you sometimes can't see like the beauty in things, because you can actually see. You'll know what I mean when you get it. I think that's about it. Do you think that's about it? Probably need a bit of something going on here.
Paula's just giving you a shout out for your Facebook
Oh,
group.
thanks, Paula. I wasn't going to do it because I thought it was bad manners. Do you think we're there, Mr. H? Got no line joining you up, have they? What do you reckon?
It looks good to me. I mean, I can actually see it better because it's not so glary as you get on the camera, but it looks good to me.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it, really?
Are we giving him legs or his leg behind him?
His legs are behind that flower.
Yeah, they're right.
He's on the little stem behind the flower.
Yeah. A nice little place to live, as Bob Ross would say.
A happy little place to live.
Happy little place with his squirrel friends.
Yeah. Right, okay, I think I'm calling that done.
Tape off here?
Yeah, I'm going to. I think I could mess around and bore you, Richard, for hours. And I reckon I'm done. I quite like that. It's okay. I mean, were it not so very hot in here, the only thing that I would say that I haven't done is pulled this red, that very bright red that I put in. It might look quite nice if it was pulled further up the petals. But I do like it being there anyway. Right, so let's see what it looks like. You remember the very first thing that we did was put this white background in, and it was a bit of, well, what are you doing that for, you know? But when you take the masking tape away, you can see why, I think, anyway.
Listeners thinking I made a bit saucy about Karen's chest.
No, you just said she had one.
Exactly.
Which is a good thing.
Exactly.
Everyone needs a chest. I mean, come on, guys. You know, talking of chests. Okay. I reckon we're there. Yeah.
Yep. Just need to put it back on, put the knob on.
I'll put it on and find a suitable knob that's also got a little drawer on the top as well, so I need to find two knobs that match, which I'm sure I have somewhere. And I hope to see some of your furniture with some, I mean, you're doing it at home, you're not going to have the anguish of doing it live. I can't tell you what it's like.
We just need to cover finishing. Somebody's just asking, do you seal it, etc.
Yeah, very good question. This is mineral paint that I've painted this in, and it doesn't need sealing. It needs no sealer at all. This is acrylic paint, as you've just seen me paint, and I'm happy for that to go like that without anything on top. Once that, I mean, I'm not going to put it up for sale for maybe a week, because, as you know, these paints have had a lot of extender in them, and I want to be absolutely certain that they're dry and can withstand knocks, etc. So, yeah, in about a week I'll put that up for sale. The other cabinet that we're doing, the chalk painted one, well, Paula and everybody else will be able to tell you more accurately than me. I think I'm going to wax mine when it's finished. Nothing fancy like Malia does. Just can't do it. Just ordinary clear wax. But you could, it's oak, the cabinet, and what worries me is if I put an acrylic sealer on it, a polyvinyl, whatever they are, sealer on it, that it's going to drag up some tannins. I've had that happen to me so many times I can't bear it again. With wax, you're all right. You don't get any of the tannins. It doesn't pull any of the tannins through. Commonly known as bleed through, and it's bloody awful. So this is having nothing done to it by virtue of the fact it's mineral paint, doesn't need it, and I'm quite happy to say that that painting will outlive that. Be fine. With the chalk paint, talk to the girls in the group. They really are the chalk paint aficionados. They know much more than me, but I would guess wax it and you'd be fine.
Paula says to seal over chalk paint for sure, wax or matte finish.
Yeah.
But the acrylic painting that we've done, you can either seal it or not seal it.
Yeah, it's good to go as it is. Good to go.
Somebody was just saying that it doesn't look like it's been touched by human hand. It's fantastic. Yeah,
Watch my head.
Watch your non-human head.
Yeah. Yes, I think it's pretty. And it's pretty. And I also think that it's easy for you to have a go at. But don't expect to do this the first time out, and don't throw your your paintbrushes in the sandpit or whatever it is. Just keep going, keep practicing, and you get there in the end. If you can afford it, this Golden Open is the boy for the job, without a doubt. It's the only open, readily available paint that I think exists. It gives you more of an ability to paint like you're painting with oils. Those of you that's painted with oils know what I'm talking about. But, if you've got plenty of money, go for the Golden Open. Just for this sort of thing, you need your ordinary acrylics for the bird and everything else. So I think we're gone. I think it's like an hour. That was speedy. That's it. Bye.